My origins and my birthing into motorcycles was always about riding the motorcycle.
This is a magneto, so I'm going to tap it in a little bit. Ground it on there, or you just stick it right.
It's always about getting away and escaping. It wasn't about building something cooler than somebody else. It was about building your motorcycle. No one else in the world has a motorcycle like that motorcycle. That's the idea. Old choppers and this kind of bike in particular, people that don't ride that kind of motorcycle will look at it from afar and think, what are you thinking? They don't stop really well. You got no suspension on them. They break down a lot.
Where did it snap? In this thing?
Up top.
Snap right here. This, and that goes in there.
But then when you get on one of these bikes and you experience it for the first time, you have to think about everything that you're doing. And so when you're forced to think like that, it allows you to really center yourself and calm your mind. And it's a form of meditation. The more that you can find that space, the more connected you are to the motorcycle, to the environment, the smells, the sounds, the feeling on your skin and your face. And once you feel that, especially on an old bike, and a bike that you built with your own two hands, there's no experience like that. You don't get that experience from a new motorcycle. This is just a whole different world and a whole different way to connect with the world around you. When I was a kid, my brother finished his chopper, and I'll never forget asking him, is your bike the best bike? And he goes, it's the best because it's my bike. And that stuck with me for sure. Most of the bikes I had built up to that point were the short sort of style, very utilitarian. I always built bikes to ride and for purpose. I was never like a show bike builder. The rooted inspiration probably was from a bike that my brother built in the 70s when I was 8 or 9 years old. So the geometry of that bike that my brother built, the length of the front end, and kind of how the frame is, and a little bit of the tank.
These I picked up actually at the Born Free Show swap meet. These were originally casted in the 70s. They're never used, never mounted. I think I paid like 20 bucks for them, so it's a good deal. I'll line up that hole there. It's a little tricky. They're tight.
You know, a 70s style chopper is nothing new. It's been done obviously years before I was born. But at that particular time, it was kind of a style that had kind of died out a little bit. It was a little bit different than what everybody else was doing, which is what I always do. Like, I always kind of go against the grain.
Really, the 70s popularized the longer bikes with the long highway cruisers and the big sleeping bags and stuff on the back of the bike as you're cruising down the road. So this is kind of somewhere in between that, I would say.
Is Caleb ahead of the trends? I don't want to say ahead of the trends. I think Caleb is his own trend. He looks at what he wants to do and what he sees and what he wants to build.
Initially, when I built the bike, there wasn't anything sentimental that I felt at the time. I built the bike for me. I wasn't building it to sell to anyone. I wasn't really concerned at that particular point about exactly how it looked.
I do see Uncle Sam as a work of art. Not only in how it rides or how you sit, but how it looks and how it goes down the road.
It was in November. It was close to Thanksgiving. I was traveling into Hollywood to pick up a part. I generally wouldn't ride into Hollywood on a bike at this particular time of day and all this kind of stuff because you can't really count on the people around you. So picked up the part, strapped it on my bike, and got onto Hollywood Boulevard, got to Western and stopped. I looked down Hollywood Boulevard this way, I looked down this way, no cars, and I start to let off the clutch slightly, and just out of nowhere I saw white and a car hit the front end of the bike. I remember spinning around in the middle of Western, looking up, oh no. And I immediately realized that my right leg was broken, and then I had pain and stuff in my left leg, and I thought for sure my left leg was broken. The bike was damaged pretty good, but not total, laying down in the dirt. Went to the hospital, got surgery, did all of that, and had some complications with a blood clot on my other leg. Put me back in the hospital, which is all around holidays. So I was in the hospital during Christmas. It was a very challenging time, and then finally getting home from the hospital and then, holding my daughter was, pretty,
This is a Magneto. It's like an old airplane that it's self-contained, the spark to the motor. To run or operate the bike, we'll put it up here like that. To turn the bike off or ground it, you either ground it on there or you just stick it right up there. So now the bike is off. That's chopper stuff.
Uncle Sam sat there for a while. I looked at it, it was all bent and, contemplating what I was going to do exactly with it. Because I had built a lot of bikes before, and I built that one from scratch, so I knew I could fix it. It wasn't like this crazy, difficult challenge. I think the challenge was just figuring out if I wanted to.
There we go. That's the right one. Right there. Boom.
I was asked by the guys at Born Free to build another bike for the show. There was a moment where I was like, okay, this is something I need to do.
And this little device right here just allows me to identify exactly when the points are opening, and it just makes a sound, basically. So.
With Uncle Sam being wrecked, I felt like, well, this is a good opportunity to resurrect the bike, but then do it in a different way that I wouldn't normally do, and that was to reach out to other builders that I admired and respected, and to collaborate with them or have them have some input.
So now it's perfectly static times.
The success for me, or the winning for me, was finishing the bike. It was really surreal. The thing that I thought at that moment was, it wasn't about the bike. The bike was like a vehicle, for lack of a better word, a vehicle to something else. I remember there was somebody asked me at the show, talking about the bike, and I said, I'm really happy to be here at the show, but I can't wait to ride this fucking bike. And literally a few days later, I was off. I had one friend slash client that wanted me to build a bike that was similar to Uncle Sam and had already kind of gave me a lot of the money for the bike. I was going through a difficult personal time, and so I was moving. I had a lot of projects I was trying to catch up on. You know, I was overextended, under a lot of stress, refusing to give up. I really wanted to honor my obligations with the people that put their trust into me to build a motorcycle for them.
What people don't understand is you really have that bond with your bike where you know every aspect. All the little nuances of what it does, how it rides, how you shift, when you shift, all of that is part of the bike that you learn and you get to love.
I had an opportunity for him to help me kind of get one leg up, and I said, look, you can wait maybe a year, maybe 2 years for me to build you this bike, or you can take Uncle Sam. He goes, well, that's the bike I wanted anyway. He came by the house, picked the bike up, and I remember like going, wow, I love that bike. It was kind of like an old shoe and the whole thing, and I rebuilt it and have all this story and this experience. And I had never been really that sentimental about a bike before, but I certainly was at that moment, you know?
I would definitely say it's like a really close friend. You know, all the adventures you have with it, you know, the good times, the bad times, all of that, just you learn over time.
I remember he was driving away and I kind of saw him disappear around the corner. It was sort of this finality to things. It's like breaking up with somebody.
How's the bike running?
Like awesome.
Good.
Well, cause
It sounds good.
yeah. Chopper smack.
No, but look, I love you. But you can have this. I have 3 of them. I have 3 choppers now. Look at that. It's a good one.
It looks good on you both.
Yeah. It's all about trading hats. Real tough guy shit.
I think he had the bike for at least 7-8 years. And he sent me an email, said, hey man, I'm making some moves. I don't really ride the bike that much. Do you want to buy the bike back? And I said, I don't know. I'm building this other bike and I couldn't really justify spending the money to buy it back, even though I really wanted it. So I put it out to the crew.
When I bought the bike, I bought it unseen. I would usually never do that, but I'm like, we have to have this bike. We have to get this bike back in our crew.
The fact that one of our beloved friends on our crew has it and is enjoying it and loving it is just the coolest thing ever. It couldn't have gone to a better person. You know?
take the. Make sure our car don't hit me.
Yeah, Jonah.
I'll take
Watch
the
out for cars.
throttle
Wave them
or
around.
the clutch cable off. Let's see. I don't know, man.
Is it its throttle cable or its
Clutch.
clutch? Oh, that's good. Should not be cable, but we don't know if it's long enough. But
The way this thing's mounted.
where did it snap? In this thing?
Up top.
Snap right
Yeah.
here.
You got this little guy. For that up there is easy. This is good. This we can plug one of these in, or it actually can plug into that. It's this that's going to be the issue. I'll just call AAA.
You can't. SOS. You got service?
We'll find out.
Oh.
Yeah, I got it.
This
Oh, I
and
see.
that
There
goes
you go.
in
Like
there.
that. No.
And then go like this, and that
Correct.
goes in there.
Correct.
Okay, now you got it.
There you go. Okay. Go. Okay. Go ahead. Pull it. Let go.
That's pretty tight.
Pull it.
I mean, that feels good.
It might come loose. Just hang it on there. Sure. All right. Don't overdo it.
Make sure we didn't leave
Brother
any
man.
plastic.
I don't know where all those. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. No, you're welcome. You're the best. I don't know where all the little bits are.
I put it on.
Okay.
The first time I saw the bike, I went to Caleb's and he had it there and he had it up on the rack. I actually asked him, can I sit on it? And he said, it's your bike. Pretty much forgot.
We're gonna ride our choppers out there. Just ride right into the fucking pig.
For me, it's been an amazing catalyst, motorcycles in general, but especially this bike, to connecting with all of these people and experiences for sure. I don't know if the bike has taught me anything about life, but it's allowed me to learn things about life and connections. At the end of the day, that's really what it is, sharing stories about something or about this thing. How did this come to be? What were you feeling when this came to be? What were you thinking about when you built this? Or what were you thinking about when you were riding it?
If the circuit breaker gets jumped, you're not getting
Power.
charging to the battery.
Would that cause it to stall? If
It could.
Trips the
If it trips the
I think
breaker,
that was one of the problems I was
it
having.
could be.
We all love our bikes and all our bikes have their personalities and everybody in the crew has their different personalities and we all get along mostly because of the bikes. So working on the bikes, talking about the bikes, being on adventures with the bike, having breakdowns, learning things every time. Everybody, learns something with a ride.
Let me ride it before you put it in the car. Let me ride it before you put it. Hang on.
When I see this bike, I see Caleb. I see the stories. I see the new adventures with our crew. That's what I see when I see Uncle Sam.
The romantic idea is that it lasts longer than us, longer than me. So, maybe when my daughter is old and gray and I'm long gone, there's a story about this bike and my connection.
So this is a print that Caleb did. He actually left me a note saying how much he appreciates.
I had no idea at that time that something so arcane and trivial had the power to bring people together. Because at the end of the day, it really is. It's just a machine. It's a stupid little motorcycle.
What I do know is I'm just a placeholder. I'm a placeholder holding this bike, riding this bike, creating stories with this bike, knowing that a future generation will do the same thing that I'm doing.
being young, it's all about, oh, this is cool, and I'm learning something, and oh, this is neat, and you're not really thinking about bigger life things. You're not really thinking about human connection and bonding and emotional experiences and all of those things that make us human. You're not thinking about those things when you're doing it. At least I wasn't. Every time I fire a motorcycle for the very first time, that's what I think about. Every time. Especially bikes I built.